Hey guys, what's up? My name is Omar. I'm a photographer and a filmmaker, and in today's video I thought I would show you how to edit product photos. Before we get into that, I thought I'd just explain that there are a few rules that you need to follow when editing product photos. For example, when you're taking pictures of portraits, landscapes, concert photography, you can be as crazy as you want when it comes to the edit. You can add effects, you can enhance the color, you can do crazy stuff with the curves. What I have found with product photos is, especially the most recent product photography commission that I got from a glasses company called Iola, they stated, please do not mess with the color. We want to keep the color as true to the product as possible. And I'm pretty sure that goes for pretty much most products. What you don't want is to, if a product is purple, you don't want to make it you don't want to make it light purple or dark purple. You need to make sure that what you take a picture of is what it pretty much looks like as the end product. So that is kind of like the main rule you need to follow. The second rule is to try and make sure you take the photo as amazing as possible when you're taking the photo, so you don't have to do much when it comes to editing. If you watch my two videos, I will link them here and at the end of the video. The first one, I show you really quickly how to take some awesome product photos, and then the second one is from the vlog that I did when I was doing the product photos for the company that commissioned me to take pictures of the products, where I you kind of see just like a behind the scenes of what I'm doing, how to get a nice natural light, and just how to make everything look really good when you're taking the photo, because what you want to do in the edit is to be as minimal as possible with the edit. Really don't want to play around with contrast. You also want to make sure that when you're taking the photo, you have less to do in the edit. Now, I actually do this with pretty much every type of photography. Portrait photography, landscape photography, concert photography. What I don't want is to end up spending like a good I was gonna say half an hour. What you don't want to do is to end up spending a good day or two on the edit. With concert photography, you need to get the images to, I know I'm kind of going off the beaten path here a little bit, but I'll come back to what I'm originally talking about. With concert photography, what you don't want is to spend a few days taking editing the photos. The artist needs a photo pretty much on the day or the day after. So you want to make sure when you take the photo, it's as perfect as possible. In order to get that image as perfect as possible and as quick as possible too, I do recommend getting some sort of mirrorless camera. Now, the good thing about mirrorless cameras is that in here, there is a screen and you can see what the image looks like as you are changing things like your ISO, your shutter speed, your f-stop. Obviously, if you're bringing your ISO down, it darkens the image. If you're bringing it up, it brightens up the image. Same with your shutter speed and your f-stop. Now, what I like to do is when I take the picture, I do like to look through the viewfinder because I get a nice, sharp, perfect sharp image. What I also like to do is have focus assist on, which means when I'm zooming in or out, the image actually zooms in here, so then I can see a nice detailed shot of is the logo in focus, is it out of focus, and then I can get that as perfect as possible. Because what you want, it does take a while to set up. The setup for product photography took me a good maybe a good hour or two to get it looking how I wanted it to look. And then when you're setting up the product, you want to make sure, is it looking nice? Is it upright nice? Does it look better down? Does it look better upright? Does it look better like this, like that? You will take a long time with the setup. What you don't want to do then is to take, a good couple of days to edit the photo. The editing needs to be the most easiest thing that you're gonna do. Import the footage, boom, 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 within 5 minutes, and you are absolutely done. And also, it means that you do have a few days to spare, kind of going back and just making minor adjustments. You don't want to end up spending, a crazy amount of days just adjusting all these, making major adjustments, because you're gonna find that you're gonna end up delivering the products to the company a lot late, a lot late, really late. And that's what you don't want. There are deadlines that you have to meet. So what I was gonna say was, coming back to my one point, make sure pre-production is on point. Make sure you know what you're doing before you take the photo, and then make sure when you take the photo, it looks like 90% how you want it to look, pre-editing. Right, let's get into the edit now.
What we're gonna do is, I'm in Lightroom Classic over here, Adobe Lightroom Classic. This is my favorite software to use. Very, very user-friendly. Anyone can use it, man. I think it'll take you like a day or two just to get used to everything, but we have a lot of stuff here. We have tones, we have the curves, which I absolutely love, and we have all these individual colors you can play with. You can do split toning too, and then you have the little bits and pieces here, man, like the detail stuff, sharpening, noise reduction, lens correction. This is a really good one too, but there's a lot of stuff you can do here, and once again, it's very, very simple. So guys, this is honestly probably one of my favorite photos that I've taken from like the hundreds of photos that I did. They sent me about 10 glasses, and these are my favorite glasses. I love the tone. So one thing that's very important, guys, is to choose, you know, a setting that will help complement the glasses. So with these ones, I wanted to go with that like baby green with a beige color, and look at that, it just helps so much. It complements it a lot. And it's just very easy on the eye, you know? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna first of all show you why you shouldn't apply these presets, like Instagram presets, to product photos like this. Check this out. Look at that. That completely ruins and gets rid of all of these beautiful colors that we have. I don't like that, right? It really does. I mean, that's pretty much white, you know? So we're not gonna apply any of these to the picture. I used to hate not having a preset on photos, but I think when it comes to product photography, you need to make sure everything is just done on your own. So we're not going to do much to this, because this, I swear to God, is about 95% of how I want the final image to be. So we're gonna make minor alterations here. First and foremost, sharpening. Always make sure, now Lightroom will automatically do this for you, but if it doesn't, make sure, you know, you sharpen the image. Now obviously the focus assist has helped it a lot, man, because the most important thing was to get that brand as sharp as possible. So all we're gonna do is just bring the sharpening up a little bit more. Now you don't want to over sharpen it, because look at what it's gonna do, right? You want to try and get it in between like 0 to 20. Anything more will just be, you're just overcompensating. So next up, we're going to bring the exposure up a little bit. You know, in fact, we're not really going to bring it up by much, maybe by +10, and bring the contrast a little bit. What I'm noticing is it's a little bit warm, so we're going to go to temperature and we're going to cool it off a little bit, just a tiny bit. See how it was at 5,500? We're going to bring that down to maybe about, I would say, 5,350, which may not sound like a lot, but it helps, you know, it helps quite significantly. We still have a bit of browning here, but it's a bit more cooler. Right now with the greens, I know I said we're not going to oversaturate, but I think a tiny bit will help, just like a tiny bit. All right, so we're going to crop this a little bit as well. I'm trying not to use the same words that I'm using over and over again, because what we want is to focus on, you know, the iola. So I think maybe we can do a little bit more here. Yeah, that's dope. So it is a lot more focused. Now we can see the settings that I've used here. ISO 400, 35mm. So I use a prime lens, so that's a 35mm focal point, and f4. With product photography, I always like to use f4 or f4.5. I don't like to use f2.8 or f1.8, because what I don't want is for the frame to be super blurry, and then, you know, it's all about details. You don't want to go for anything too experimental. So as you can see here, it's nice and blurred out, but then we're getting detail as well. So all the details in the center here, and that's because we're using f4, so it doesn't blur everything out. When it comes to here, the highlights and the shadows, we're gonna play around with the whites a tiny bit. So look at how that's gonna affect the vibrancy. It'll make it just a bit more vibrant, and we want that by 15. And I will be totally honest with you, that is pretty much all we're going to do. There's nothing else that we need to do. So if we look at the before picture and then look at the after picture, That's it. It's looking a bit greeny, so let's see if we can play around with the tint and make the tint a bit more red. Ah, wow, look at that. That has helped considerably as well. Look at this. That's before, very green. And then if we bring the tint up, we're making it a little bit more warmer. So that's at plus 11, and then at plus 25. There we go. I'm super happy with that, and I think the company would be too. And that's it, guys. It's really as simple as that. But the most important thing is to make sure that the image looks perfect as soon as you take the photo. What you don't want to do is to spend, 3,000 hours trying to fix a photo when you can take the picture really quickly, but at the most perfect condition, and then not have to do much editing afterwards. But that is it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and good luck with your product photos.